And we're back for a little bit more whales, at least as much as I can get this camera to behave anyway. And they're still off the coast. Back up a bit. We're looking, there's the apartments here on Esplanade, and there's the Chit Chat Cafe, and of course other people that are watching, and the house, the upper post office, the Upper Pacifica Post Office, give you a reference, and then the coastline that would be looking down towards the pier if you could see it. But it goes all the way, all the whales are being sighted from about here all the way down there. In fact, there's a couple breaching right off the coast right now. Let's see if we can zoom in on them. It's kind of tough. So we need to clean the lens here for a moment. It's getting all spotted up and making the autofocus go nuts. Alright, so let's see if I can bring them in way out there, because they are way out there right now. And this camera, this Panasonic camera, is on its max zoom. So there were some birds. There we go. There's a few. Should be hopefully a few. There were some birds off in the distance. And basically that's where the whales are coming up. There we go. Big fluke or fin. Let's see if we can get another couple in there before I take it down. So much moisture in the air today. It's difficult to get a sighting out there. I have to stay in focus. There we go. There's quite a few. I'm sorry if I'm not able to get this to stay in focus. I'm going to have to go back and grab the other camera, I think. Here's one that's relatively close up. So where those birds are. There we go. Just reaching, they're going above the surface now. There's really quite a number of them out here at this point. It's always cool to see whales off the Pacifica, California coast, but today is a little extra special. They're in close, and they're pretty, well, they're pretty pretty. That is, it's an excellent time to see them right now. And I wish I could do better as a cameraman, helping you to see them. In any case, there is an ample opportunity around the California coast in the Pacifica, California area, just below San Francisco. Woo! I think I just missed a really good one. Oh my gosh. That was so awesome. Breached up out of the water, at least where those birds are. There we go, he's coming up again. Zoom in a little bit more. pod out there in the distance, and I guess they're feeding like mad because they've been really active for a number of hours. It's about 10 in the morning, and right now it's 5 in the evening. There we go. There's one for you. Well, there's a payoff. You don't always get to see them, but if you keep at it, there's a number of them out here. I mean, there's one right there. Let's see if I can swing around really quick. There's a number of them out over in this area as well. Usually, if you can, it's really nice today if you can see a big congregation or a big flock of birds above the surface. They usually track the whale as it forces fish and other things to the top. And so the birds help you track where the next location of the whale is going to occur. That one right there. So far, it's out of most of the view of the camera, but if I look up and down, I've seen at least, just standing here watching, what appears to be at least 10 or 20 different whales. Let's see, can I get that other one down here? Quick enough. You can see the plume. Sometimes you can see the fin or the body of the whale come out. That went down really quick. Let's come back over to these birds again and hopefully he'll surface. Some really nice sightings today though. As you can tell, some days out here it gets pretty windy. It's Bay Area, so if you're on the coast, layer up. Chat Cafe, and they'll be happy to provide you with a warm cup of, or a hot cup of coffee, some nice, let's go back up, a nice hot cup of chocolate, or if you're even up in the mood for something a little bit stronger, not too strong, but a nice beer or two. And there might be one or two right there. Sometimes you can count their bodies beneath the surface a little bit easier today, but it's kind of churned up today, so it's making it a little difficult. There's a pair of them at least at this point that we're looking at. Maybe even more. As we've seen videos up or underneath the surface of the ocean, I mean, I've seen them, well, I'm not sure about humpbacks, I'll have to check this later, but I've seen whales circle and then just blow air bubbles up so that they are forcing all of their prey to congregate in one area so they can zoom in for the scoop up, the kill. I'll have to look and see what humpbacks have later. But certainly more skill than just simply ranging about in the ocean trying to eat something out of any old place. It definitely looks like they're trying to corral whatever they're feeding on. And there's several spots of this happening. We're just looking at one right now. As some of the other parts of the pod move up toward my position a little bit closer, I might switch around and see if I can get views of some of the other ones I see next to me. But let's pause for a second. Clean off the lens again. It's a little bit easier to do this right now than to just simply do a cut and paste or a cut to a different scene later. Just because there's so much action that's going on. Let's see, where are those birds? There's some. in the distance. Might be some good action happening out here for a bit. While we're waiting for them to come up. Oh yeah, there's a whole bunch of birds up there. I'm waiting to come up. I'll go steady up on this pole. Let's see if I can get a little more of a steady even the pole, this is just the pole shaking where the sign that says warning, dangerous cliffs, do not go beyond this point. The wind's shaking this sign around quite a bit too. So very little help in trying to steady out on the sign. Sorry if I'm shaking around here and losing my position. I'm trying to keep the camera on a good spot while at the same time scan around for more good stuff in the distance to pan over to. We'll stay on these birds for a moment. They've been concentrating. See a few plumes, and there are some whales right at the spot. I've seen more than a few come up. So you can see a few plumes off in the distance from the other whales surfacing and taking a breath. They're definitely active. They've been active all day long. Try to swing around. That one just came out. Now the birds are going after whatever he drove up. But he just breached the surface in a pretty good way. Sort of after the fact, we're going a little bit after the fact here. But they're definitely driving the food. There we go. You can see one of them at the surface now. Just go back down. They're definitely driving the food up and scooping it. I'm probably using the wrong term there, scoop. Such big mouths anyway. Yeah, see, it's tough to swing around. Tell exactly when they're going to come out. This is that one spot we were looking at just a minute ago where these birds have congregated. As you can see, that whale's there now feeding, or at least at the surface. So there was a report, you know, as far as another landmark about where all of this is. Right now I'm going to pan around a little bit more. This is more of the California coast. These are condos that are up here on Esplanade, but if we look off in the distance at this rock that's out there, this is Mussel Rock. So they were sighted in the area of Mussel Rock a little bit earlier in the day, and I wouldn't be surprised if I went down there because I'm looking down the coast and seeing plumes quite a bit a ways. I wouldn't be surprised if they're down here at Mussel Rock still. So let's see, let's give another second to clean off the lens. And also another cool thing, we zoom out a bit, there have been lots of migrations of terns, and when I say a migration, I mean a big migration. We're looking at a migration of, at least of this flock, that's probably about a half mile long, if not even longer, because we're looking off in the distance and I don't see the end of it. So it's there's a lot of things going on here, many things going on, not just the whales that I'm going to try to capture for you again, but all of these birds in this huge flocks, thousands and thousands of these birds that are flying in front of us. And in fact, the other day, watching one of these flocks, I sat out on the same coastline for 10 minutes watching the whole flock pass. And it was a nice sunny evening at that time, so we're getting the birds passing in front of the sun. There's the close whale. Hopefully he'll come up a couple more times. So there's one there, and if I can pan around, there's another spot right here where he just went down again. Let's bring him back. Will he stay at the surface? Tough to tell. That's all that whale. When you're looking at whales and looking at them off in the distance, right now we're looking at about 200 to 300 yards off of the shore. Now there are some even further offshore that I've seen, maybe about 500 to 600 yards offshore. But these whales are fairly close up. Right now, as we look down toward the beach, I'm going to go ahead and zoom back out. Some seagulls down there. As we look down toward the beach, this whole area is about 50, 60 feet off the ground and provides a nice angle to look down toward the ocean and watch the whales. So you can certainly take boats out to meet these whales out in the ocean. Off the coastline here, all the way out to the Farallon Islands, you can take these excursions, these whale watching excursions out. In some ways, I kind of like watching them from the shore a little bit better. You can certainly scan the horizon to see where they're surfacing. In a large pod like today, it helps out even more so. We'll see another one breach or surface over here. He just came up. Looks like there's several in this area though. So when you're out in the ocean though, you can't see across so far because you're usually limited to nice. You're usually limited to something like 10 or 15 feet off the deck of the boat, which itself may be anywhere from 3 to 5 feet off of the surface of the ocean. So standing on shore can offer you some advantages that a boat cannot. Plus there's the added benefits that you're pretty sure you're not going to damage the whale with the propeller of your boat, or you're not going to crowd them out of their hunting grounds, or disturb any of their calves that they might have with them. There's several good reasons to watch from the shore rather than the boat. That said, the people who take you out on the whale watching excursions themselves are trained to stay a good distance away from these pods, at least trying to judge where the pods are and keep a good distance so that they don't harm the whales. There we go. There's just so many around here today. Probably swing a little bit more south, or a little bit more north here in a moment. See if we can capture some more. But as I was saying, the guys on the boats are trained to stay away from the pods a good distance. So don't feel like you have